They want to do podcasts, so they use our studio to do it. And it's been something that we're intending to really grow that to a full revenue center.
Knowing that you're investing your time to work with them, that's worth a lot of money. But your expertise in this business and knowing what needs to go where and how, and people have a hard time implementing that themselves. So to know that there's somebody out there that's going to help them make it happen, that's worth a lot of money.
We sit down with them and go, okay, who has access to your YouTube? Who has access to your Facebook? Who's handling your website? Can we talk to them? Can I help make sure that this gets in the right places?
We talk about the importance of niching down and how niching down to nonprofit storytelling completely transformed Bill's business model and client ROI. We also cover why moving from W-2 employees to contractors made his business lighter, faster, and honestly, more fun. And then finally, how turning your studio into a podcast production hub can become its own legit revenue stream. Bill shares his story. I share a little bit of mine on how we're doing that. All that and so much more in today's episode. What up, friend? Hey, welcome back for those returning. And welcome, if it's your first time, to the Grow Your Video Business Show. My name is Ryan Coral, and I have the unique and distinct pleasure of being your host here. Oh, baby. I'm glad that you're here. This is a fun one. Bill's been in my world of video production for not as long as I've been doing it, but almost for as long as I've been doing it. So it's just fun to sit down with another video production person and talk about what's working, what's not, all that stuff. So that's in this episode. I want you to stay connected to the things that we're doing here. If you're growing a business, if you're in a spot where you just feel like you wish that you had someone in your corner, someone who was like for you and wants you to win, that's me. I want you to win. I want you to be the best version of yourself running a business. And, if you've got a family or friends or community or whatever, your business should not consume every single part of you. And I only can speak from my own experience and say that for the last 22 years of running my production business, almost 22 years, I've made it a priority to be available for my wife, for my kids, and not just but to be involved, to be integrated into the community that we live. I'm involved with the PTA. I'm the director of the elementary school variety show. We call it the Dolphin Show because we're dolphins at Springfield Plains. And I'm an assistant coach for my other daughter's field hockey team. And what else? I'm just plugged in. I'm doing things that I want to do. And do they have an impact on my business? I would say probably. It means I don't spend as much time in my business as I could, but that's the life that I want. I want to be able to do things that aren't just business. As much as I love my business and I love tweaking and experimenting and refining and perfecting and, just all of those things. It is so fun being an entrepreneur, but that can consume me. It has. I mean, when I started all those years ago, I would stay up till 2 or 3 in the morning editing, and Andrew and I would sit down to watch a show, and my office was 2 stories up, and we would watch shows in our basement. And this was back when I was burning DVDs and exporting projects and stuff. And so when there was a commercial, because this was back when they had commercials, I would go up 2 flights of stairs and I would check on the status of the export. If it was done, then I would start the next export. I would start burning a DVD. And I was doing this at like 8, 9, 10 p.m. So I wasn't just working 9 to 5. I was like, well, shoot, I got a few minutes here, a few minutes there. And problem alert, if you have a significant other, it's really hard to be fully present for them. If you have kids, it's really hard to be fully present for your kids when you've got your laptop open, you got your phone open, and you're doing 2 things at once. Am I perfect at creating good boundaries? No, but have I set boundaries, and do I constantly try to, there's some weekends where I delete all my social media apps from my phone, and sometimes I'll just take my watch off. I don't have my watch on right now because I don't want notifications and the freedom that comes with that. So anyway, I want to be an encouragement for you. I want you to know that there's a better way. whatever way that you're running your thing, there probably is a better way. And I want to be here to challenge you and encourage you and to help you think outside of the box of how you are running your current business. So anyway, I'm glad that you're here. I want you to know that I've got an in-person event that I've just started whispering about, but lock these dates in your calendar if you would consider at all coming and hanging out for a couple of days with me and a bunch of other amazing creatives and filmmakers and the people that I bring in to speak and all that stuff. It's going to be the first, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the first week in October day, I don't know, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Everybody goes home, hopefully Wednesday, so we can hang out late Tuesday night. Mark that in your calendar. And if you're not signed up to the newsletter, make sure that you are so that you can stay up to speed on all of the cool things that we've got going on. And when you say they're cool, does that mean that they're not cool? So yeah, all of the things happening here. StudioSherpas.com/newsletter. Go there, StudioSherpas.com/newsletter. Actually, growyourvideobusiness.com. That's actually a website now. I was using it as forwarding to the podcast page, but now actually growyourvideobusiness.com is the place. So you can go there. You can sign up to the newsletter there. You can listen to the podcast there. You can do all the things there. So go there. Go to growyourvideobusiness.com. And I'll just say this while we're here. Like, if you like this show, please share it with somebody. And leave me a review. I would love a podcast review. Helps with the algorithm. If you're watching this, hit like, subscribe, share it. I'm hoping that we hit 1,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel like real soon. That'll be fun. So help a bro out, okay? Appreciate you. I do. I'm glad that you're here. This is fun work that I get to do. With that epic intro, let's get into this episode today. Okay, here we go. What's up, friend? Hey, welcome to another episode of the show. Bill, do not interrupt me. Today I am joined by my friend Bill Grant, who I've known. I mean, he's just one of the OGs in my world of filmmaking. He is partner and creative director for As Told By, hailing from, are you in South Carolina?
Columbia, South Carolina, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Hailing from Columbia, South Carolina, Bill Grant, welcome to the show. I'm sorry it took you so long, like years and years, to get on here, but I think we both realized, like, why haven't you been on the show?
Why haven't we done this? Yeah, well, thank you, man. I appreciate it. And I will tell you that when I was kind of getting to where I wanted to do education in this business, you guys, like you and, who are the Philip Bloom and
oh gosh, yeah,
and
Patrick Moreau and
Matt Davis and all these guys. I mean, yeah, Patrick, good gracious. Like y'all were sort of I go, oh, well, they can do it. You know, I can do it too. And so just like you, I started in wedding videography. And so it was, going to those first conferences in Orlando, where there were thousands of people, So
yeah, a lifetime ago.
Yeah, it seems like it was 30 something years ago, but it wasn't.
It wasn't. But man, you start thinking about the cameras, the editing style, and the techniques that we were doing, 20 years ago. It's like dinosaurs, like the stuff that we were doing back then, and how far equipment has come. It's fascinating just to look and say, like, wow, we've come a long way.
Well, the thing is, like, it used to be that we didn't really have access to the good stuff unless you paid 30, 40 grand for an E&G camera, like a 1-inch E&G camera. It used to be that it was like the good cameras weren't accessible to us. We didn't have, the ability to have those good looking cameras. And I guess it was probably Patrick Moreau was one of the first ones that I saw was using the Steadicam and using like 35 millimeter. Yeah. The adapters and all that stuff to make it look good. But boy, the gear has improved so much over the last probably 10 years. It's night and day to where we started, certainly. And, when I tell people the GL1 that I started on was a terrible camera. The VX2100 was a terrible camera. And by today's standards, the PD170 VX2100 was like the gold standard when I started. That was what you got when you were professional. But
PD170.
Oh god, looking back on it, I mean, that square image, it was kinda bleach, you know? What were we doing? How did I even make a living, you
Right,
know?
yeah, who hired us? But dude, the low light of that PD-170, it was
Yeah,
like
sure.
couldn't be matched.
I just talked to a guy today, one of the guys that was on my crew this morning, he was talking about shooting in RAW. He's got a R6 Mark III, and he was talking about shooting in RAW, and I'm like, "What are you shooting in RAW? What are you outputting? Are we going to IMAXs? What are you doing? What are you talking about?
That's
Why
fantastic.
would we want something that giant on my
All the
hard drive?"
clients are asking for it.
Ugh, yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
just kidding.
I'm not there yet. I'm still shooting compressed. I wish I could shoot more compressed, honestly,
Yeah,
but
I'm just teasing, like, I think we have, like, one like, and it's typically, like, agency clients that want
Mhm.
that, but most regular clients are like, "What is that? Why would I want that?" It's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's funny recently, so agencies used to be with us, they would be very specific about what they were requesting, file formats and log parameters and different things. They don't seem to care at all anymore, and,
yeah,
like, they're like, "Yeah, whatever you're shooting with is fine." And I'm like, "Alright," because that's what they're running to all over the country is that, they can't control what people are shooting with, so if they're
right.
getting a remote crew, they're just gonna have to get what they get, you know?
Mhm, mhm.
So,
Well, give us an idea of the kind of work. I mean,
yeah.
when we first met, we were both heavy into weddings.
Yep, yep.
What does business look like for you today?
Well, I transitioned out of that in 2022. So 2022 is my last year of doing weddings. It was just getting physically difficult. I'm 52, so it's not like carrying a heavy camera for 12 hours is a good thing for me to do. And I had hired somebody to do it for me. So I had a crew member who was our wedding person, and she quit. She left.
Mm,
So, I just didn't replace her. And so, for the last probably 2 years, we've been doing a lot of social media content, a lot of short form content, making 70 or 100 videos a year for clients. And over this last year, we just were like, we're not getting the ROI on this for clients that we want. They're not getting the success out of posting on social media that we want. And we realized that what we do to help people the most is we tell a longer form story that makes an emotional connection. And that's mostly with nonprofits, sometimes with companies, but so much of it is nonprofits. And so we work with the bigger nonprofits and we do a lot of fundraising videos for them.
mhm,
Telling stories about what their effect is, origin stories. We do a lot of storytelling around awards, different things like that. And that's
yep,
really our bread and butter. We just love storytelling, and I got into that from weddings. That's what I learned from weddings is going into a dry situation or a difficult situation, and telling a good story no matter what the challenges are. And
mhm,
and so that's kind of what we do now. I'm working on a project for a nonprofit that serves the Spanish speaking community, and 3 of our interviews are in Spanish, and I don't
wow,
speak Spanish. And my editors don't speak Spanish. So I love the challenge of, okay, how do we edit this narrative, when we don't speak the language?
yeah,
And, I love being able to kinda dig into that kinda stuff, and truly just sort of help them articulate their story that they have a hard time articulating. And, so we found that our ROI for clients goes way up when we can show things in person. So we can have things at a gala or an event or, show them to investors as they get there. And so we've kind of narrowed our focus down to that.
you mentioned you came up with some kind of a framework or something that you're taking
Yeah.
these clients.
Yeah, we call it the blueprint. So it's basically, most people don't place, their content in enough of the foundational places first, right? So YouTube, certainly post it on Facebook, certainly post it on LinkedIn, but also have it on a prominent spot on the website, right? So that it's above the fold and it's one of the first things that you see. Have it in your email signature, when you're sending emails out to people. Um, and that's sort of the foundation of it. And then we talk people through finding ways of showing it in person. So do you show it in investor meetings? You show it at networking events that you can get sponsorship for. You show it at events or galas or any of that stuff. But as often as you can show it in public, take it to people and show it. Look for those opportunities to show it to people in person, because that
Mhm.
way you're watching it all the way through. You're not worried about the algorithm, you know, getting you 5 or 10 seconds of viewership. You're getting the whole thing viewed. And then analytics. Most people don't analyze what they're doing. They don't understand the effectiveness of things. They put it out and don't really look at it after it's out. And
Mhm.
so the big thing for us is if we can get people through this framework where they have it all in all of the foundational places, they show it in public a lot, and then they analyze the results. We help them decide the matrix, like what are we measuring? What does value look like? Um, then that's how we take them through it. And it's been successful for us so far. We're feel like we're really making some headway on helping people to raise money in the way that they need to get their mission done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I would imagine that when clients, when they feel like they're getting an ROI on their investment, it becomes a lot easier to buy. But if they feel like they're just getting a video and
right.
it's all up to them to kind of figure out what to do with it, like once they have it in their hands. So it sounds like what you're trying to do is really beef up what their ROI is to be.
Yeah.
What does it look like? Are you meeting with them before the project starts to go over this stuff, or is it once the project's in their hands, you're like, okay, let's have a meeting and make sure it's all in all the places, or what does that
Yeah.
actually look like?
Once it's done, we will have a brief with them afterwards. First step, obviously, is we got to make something that they love, right? So this is important. We got to make a video that they love.
Mhm.
They can't be okay with it. It can't be satisfactory. They got to love it. And so I go way overboard to make sure that they love it. So that means that if I have to do a couple extra shoots, no big deal. If I have to make sure, I had one in the fall where it was a family celebrating an anniversary of a business, and we were doing a video about it. And the uncle was coming into town from Greece 3 days before they were going to show this thing in public. And they were like, "Could you please just incorporate our uncle into the video?" Uncle didn't speak English at all. So he's from Greece, but he learned 3 phrases in English to be on this video. And so every time I'd ask him a question, he would say the same 3 phrases again, because that's what he learned, and he got it. He nailed it, those 3 phrases. So I went to my editor on the Wednesday before they were gonna show it on Saturday, and I'm like, "Look, I got Uncle Gus. I gotta put Uncle Gus in the video. We gotta do it." And so we wanna make sure that it's what they love, right?
Mhm. Sure.
It's so important to us to make sure that that's in it, and that came from weddings too, right?
Yeah.
I my making wedding videos for people is not for me. I always made it for them. So if they wanted something in there that didn't make sense to me or to my editor, I'd still make sure that it got done, right? Uh, once they do that, we sit down with them and go, okay, who has access to your YouTube? Who has access to your Facebook? Who's handling your website? Can we talk to them? Can I help make sure that this gets in the right places? LinkedIn is one that nobody thinks about for some reason. Um, you know, um, and then for executive directors of nonprofits, one of the things they do is talk to community groups all the time. I mean, they're constantly presenting to community groups. So we want to go, okay, when you're going to Rotary next week, is there a laptop there? Do you need to bring a laptop? Do they have a projector? Is there a sound system? Let me call the guy at Rotary and make sure that they've got it all set up for you. Because we just want to shepherd them through. And we figured out that if they get more use out of this, they're going to
Right.
tell more people. They're gonna come back to us for other things, we get value out of it, and then eventually we wanna start being able to charge for that service, which I think, is valuable, but we've gotta establish that value and start to track the metrics of it because, what we've done in the past is not track the metrics of it, which we
Mhm.
definitely should do, so
Mhm.
that's what we're doing right that's what we're in the process of right now.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you is what does that cost? Okay, so it's an added value currently,
Mhm.
which really smart to build that out and have that be one of your differentiators. I would say the data will only be more helpful, but the service alone is incredibly helpful. So just for you to say, hey, I'm going to get all your people together that have their hands in sharing this, whether it's people writing the newsletter, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc.
Yeah.
So to think about that in terms of like, you can hold off charging for this until you see the kind of numbers that you think justify it.
Yeah.
But also know that that's a service that people would pay for just to know that it's in all of the places that it needs to be.
Well, and two, even if they know how to do it, they don't always do it. And so certainly if they want us to just take it and do it for them, then we can charge them for that, right? But for me to have a call, a 35, 40-minute call with them just to go through everything and just say, and I've made a video about it, so I'll send the video out and the video has all of the stuff in it and, what to do and all that stuff. But, to have that for them, I think is just caring for them. It's just
Yeah.
making sure that they get out of it what they want and that we're not just moving on to the next project, we're helping them, get something out of what we're making for them because we feel like it's very important. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing that I've said for a long time is that people, because they don't measure their analytics for the videos that we do for them, they don't call us back. It
Right.
sits on the website and they're like, we got what we need. But if there was a way to say, hey, you see how this one, your people are staying on your website longer.
Yeah.
They're engaging, they're doing the call to action. If you can show them anything like that, that's only planting a seed to say that this is worth your investment here.
Yeah.
It's not just, you didn't just put it on the website and we have no idea, but look, it's working, it's not working, versus people just making assumptions of like, well, I think it's working, or yeah, it's fine. Like, we're glad that we have it and it feels good. Well,
Or it
better
looks
than
good and we're happy with it, right? Or it looks good, and my people are happy with it is really the only metric that we've had up until very recently has been we're all happy with it, and then we go, good job. And we move on to the next thing. And so we're figuring that, because we've just come off a couple of years of doing retainers. We've had up until September of last year, we had 5 different retainer clients. So we were doing social media, we were doing constant, we were doing had a real estate company that we were doing 12 videos a month for them.
Oh,
So if you look at 12 videos a month, after 3 months, that's 36 videos, right? After 6 months, that's 72 videos. It's nuts. It's too much. It's too much content for them to be able to use. And so they came to us in September and they're like, listen, we've posted 4 videos this year and we've got 72 in the kitty. We can't keep doing this, you know? And that was the common thing. We would have them for about a year and then they would go, all right, we made 113 videos last year and we used 8 of them. We just can't keep doing this.
yeah.
And these are situations where they have a marketing director, they have a communications director. It's their job to push everything out to social, so they didn't want us to manage it. They just want us to create the content. So we did. Like we went gangbusters, create the content.
Yeah.
And they just didn't get the use out of them. So we at the same time we had a client that made a 7.5-minute video. So I want y'all recognize how long that is. They didn't recognize how long that was, but I'd like,
Yeah.
y'all, this is Lawrence of Arabia. This is the equivalent in the commercial world of making a 3.5-hour movie.
Right. They extended.
But they were like, look, we're not putting it on social. That's not what we're doing. We're showing it to people in public.
Yeah.
So they would have events at their facility and they'd show the video. Instead of talking, they would show the video.
Yeah.
And they would raise money every single time they'd show it. And we're like, okay, this is what people have been doing to get benefit out of us. Let's just help people that don't know what to do with this. So what we did in November, December, is I went back to clients over the last year who I know haven't used everything that we gave them. And I'm like, look, can I just give you some, basic, let's figure out what to do to help you get the most use out of this. And over again, the answer was absolutely yes. Of course, I wasn't charging them yet. And, so we had a lot of energy created around that and got new business from several of those from approaching them that way. So
Mhm. Yeah, as you're thinking about turning this into a product that you would sell to people,
yeah,
like have you settled on a price point? Is it a percentage of what the overall project is worth, or do you have any
we've
ideas on
thought
how you're
about that. I mean, honestly, it's tough because that would determine us getting real into their financials, and then how they do donations, and then how they collect donations and all that stuff. So what we've done is we basically said, look, because we have a studio and you know this, if you do interviews in the studio, it costs less money than if I go out on location and do
right?
interviews. So I can reduce the price point a little bit if I do the interviews here. So we've started at about a $5,000 price point for those, and we felt like that's a good starting place for a lot of nonprofits. Even small nonprofits have been good with that, and it just goes up from there based on the complexity of it. So if we have to go on site more or less, that includes like 4 hours. That 5,000 includes like 4 hours of production, and we're
Mhm.
usually able to get a good simple story told in that short of a period of time, primarily because we're doing all the interviews here. And
Yeah,
when we do the interviews here, we don't have to go that hard at getting the interviews and whatever. Even if they can't all come at the same time, we
right,
can just
right.
pop them into the studio and knock off an interview and they can go about their day, you know? So,
So then, as far as the workshop or the hands-on, hey, I'm gonna help you,
yeah.
make sure this is in the right spot and all that stuff. Look at your analytics, pull that stuff up. What price
Yeah.
point, cost
So,
range?
yeah, that's gonna be in the eventually, that's gonna be in the 2,500 plus range to be able to do that. We haven't really figured out what that is because really that's just value, that's not cost. So that's gonna be several half-hour to 1 hour meetings, just to go through it. So many of the time we found that they have somebody to do all this stuff, they just
Yeah,
don't do it. They just don't,
right.
either they don't think about to do it, they don't feel like they have enough time to do it, they don't see the value, whatever it is. And so if we can just give them that nudge to say, "Go do this," we're seeing a lot of response from that and a lot of value, from them actually doing it.
Mhm. Then it just begs the question: at what point, like when are you going to have what you need in order to say, okay, it's time to start charging for this?
Yeah, the challenge, I mean, we're kind of really just 2 months into it right now, so we've got 3 or 4 projects that have been done in that time period, so once we collect the data on this, probably within the next 2 or 3 projects, we'll start to do that. And
Mhm.
I'll send the video out for free, right? Here's the video. This will tell you what to do. If you want me
Yeah,
to do it, it'll cost.
yeah.
But here's the video. Um, and we're doing the same thing for podcast guests. We're doing the same thing for you know, people who are hosting podcasts. So it's like we just want to be able to say, I care about what happens with this once it's done. Here's the
Mhm.
thing. If you want me to do it, it's going to cost money. That's the
Yep.
that's the plan. It'll be in the next 3 or 4 projects.
The video that you send them, you're sending that once you deliver everything? It's like, hey, by the way, here's this video.
Yeah.
Here's some best practices.
Yeah.
Do you have, or have you thought about in that video? Also, you kind of get in the middle of the video. It's like, hey, if any of this or all of this is too overwhelming, too frustrating, you don't have a person in place, or maybe you do have somebody in place, but they're spread thin because you're a nonprofit and they're doing all of the jobs too. If you need somebody to hold your team accountable, work alongside you, make sure that this stuff is getting done, we've got this 90-day accelerator thing that's going to help you get your, video in all the places that it needs to. I have a once a month meeting with your designated person, or I am that person.
Yeah.
Call this number
Yeah.
when done watching this video.
Have the 1-800 at the bottom.
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah,
haven't done that. It is a great idea. At the end, I do say, if you need help, call me. But yeah, I think going into detail on it makes a lot more sense. So that is a good idea. And that's the good thing about having a studio. I can go, that is a good idea. Let me go do that.
right.
I
Yeah.
don't have to do anything at all but write the script and go do it. So
My encouragement to you in this with this idea, I don't think it's one that you need to wait on. I don't think you need to prove the video is working.
yeah.
maybe for you, it's like, it's more about the process. Like, what is it like to work with somebody? What do they give you access to? You're finding it's way too hard. Nobody knows to log into these things. And so it's just, it's too hard anyway to even try it. I think
Two-factor.
that, yeah. On the front end, when you're selling whatever package they're signing up for, presenting, hey, I also have this 90-day accelerator thing, blah, blah, blah. Here's what it's going to do. Like, after you get the video, if you want to upgrade to that now, great, cool. They don't do it, then you deliver the video, you send that, your walkthrough video that has your built commercial into it, that has 2 email follow-up sequence that just says, oh, and by the way, if you're not actually doing this, here's the best way to get to our best ROI on your video. Let's have a call. I can talk you through what it's going to look like to have me do that with your team. You could do that right now. Like, I don't think that any of your clients need to see, KPIs that are like, oh yeah, we're getting the viewership that we want. It's like, knowing that you're investing your time to work with them, that's worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I get that we all want to just try to, prove our value and prove our worth, but your expertise in this business and knowing what needs to go where and how, and people don't know that naturally. People have a hard time implementing that themselves. So to know that there's somebody out there that's going to help them make it happen, that's worth a lot of money.
Yeah. And I think probably I'm coming off PTSD from all the retainer clients.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they go, can you, we've had these meetings where they say, can you bring the details in, and prove to the CEO that this is worth it. Right. And we go, y'all didn't let us have access to any of your details. So, I hope it was worth it, but, it's that's probably what it is PTSD off of that. I think, as we're ramping this up, and this is kind of our primary way of talking now, which is steering steering a cruise ship. So, we're not going as fast as I used to go. But at the same time, I think all of this is definitely, and I think having a webinar about this and having a course and having, an accelerator and all that kind of stuff is definitely in the plans. I just got to take the time to do it. This is why I need shooters out shooting things and me working on this stuff. But,
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, you're welcome for the free consulting here. Literally, we can get off this call and you can start doing this.
I go do it right now. Yeah, that's right. It'll be worth being on.
You already know how to do it. You made the video that shows them how to do it. If they don't want to do it themselves or they don't trust themselves, then hey, I'm Bill, and for $2,500, I will do this for you. And guess what? This price is half of what it's going to be 6 months from now, when this is like half of the work that I'm doing.
Yeah.
I mean,
definitely. I love it.
It's probably the most profitable offer. Do it, or I'm going to do it for you.
Yeah. There you go. That's right. I definitely need to have like a couple office days, where I don't have any shooting going on, so I can just do some of this stuff.
No, you need 2 hours. You just need to make a couple of phone calls or send a couple of emails, plant the seed.
Yeah.
You don't need to make it. Don't perfect it. This is coming from the guy who 10 years ago wanted to perfect everything and didn't do anything. Today, I mean, just this week and last week, I made so many blunders, and they're all like, most of them are like, one probably is costing money, but we can't put dollars on it, so we don't really know. So I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Somebody messaged me last night, hey, I went through this video, awesome. Hey, just so you know, when you edited the video, you didn't cut out the last 10 seconds of you just sitting there staring at the camera. I'm like, oh, in the past that would have made me freak out, like, oh my gosh,
oh god, but it's not perfect.
This guy was like, I wasn't sure if it was an Easter egg and you're just testing us to let us know that it's okay to like not have your videos be perfect. I'm like, that's not what I was doing, but I'm glad that you received it like that. So I say all of this to say the overthinking for me is what's paused. Like, this idea that you have right here, it's worth $2,500 at minimum.
Right.
So like, you can if you just take these words and say them to a client, hey, I've got this video, this shows you where to do it. I can also do all of this work for you. And it costs this much. And it's a 3-month thing. We meet once a month. It's a 30-minute call, super easy. And what you're going to get is the assurance that your video's in all the places. We're going to look at analytics. It might be bombing, and I don't know if that's going to be my fault or if it's placement or it's copy that's going with that, or your audience isn't large. There's a lot of factors here, but at least you can have some and make some informed decisions 90 days from now if you want to do another video like this. I will also say the PTSD that you're experiencing is from clients that you're trying to keep, right? Because they pay you month over month over month.
Yep.
These clients that we're talking about right now have probably done one or maybe a small handful of videos all at once.
Yep.
And so they're not signing up for anything at this point.
That's
right?
true.
They're not on the hook for anything.
That's true.
There's no pressure for you to prove that this is worth it. The only pressure on this new offer is to say, hey, here's this thing that's going to show you how it's working or how it's not working. And you can make adjustments. We can make adjustments to the video if we want to try something else in the future, add a different hook, create a different call to action, whatever. But without looking at anything, you're just kind of spending all this money on something that you're kind of crossing your fingers and saying, well, we hope it works. And we hope that our marketing person knows how to look at the analytics and that it's going places. I can solve all that problem for you. It costs this much. We can start doing it, 30 days from now.
Well, and I love this idea of not having to re-up them, just to get benefit for them, right? That's my only goal, is to get them benefit, right? Because they're going to tell more people. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to say this is a new idea for us, but this is like a relatively new idea for us, and it's a little molten lava. But what I did was I woke up one day and I said, this is what we're doing. I have a tendency to do this. This is 2026 is 21 years that I've been doing this.
Woo.
And I have a tendency every few years to wake up and burn it all down and do something else.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And it is not a good idea. So if I had bought a Subway franchise in 2005, I'd be a multimillionaire by now,
Just think if you would have, instead of doing that, just bought Apple stock.
Yeah. If I had only known, right? But the thing is, I do this because I like the fact that I can change it as often as I need to change it. And so, we just keep reinventing it. So this is a relatively new thing that we're trying to put into place. I think it's really, I think it's got legs, and, I love the idea of narrowing it down and, all that stuff. And since we're not buried in W-2 employees anymore, I can make I can make bigger changes quicker. I can do things a little bit more, a little bit wider, than I did. So.
Yeah. I just, this morning, Metricool is like one of these like social media planning apps. Probably 100 out there, but you basically plug in all of your, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, blah, blah, blah. I ran a report on one of the accounts that we don't manage social media for other clients. I have again, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm always doing things, but a buddy of mine from college who's had a lot of success on YouTube the last couple of years, we've partnered on some stuff. And so I'm managing his Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. We're taking his long form YouTube videos, we're cutting them up and managing these platforms. And it's really an experiment. My team is editing. I'm just kind of playing with like what works, what doesn't. We've had some stuff go viral. We've gotten over like 10 million views on a couple of videos, which we're like, okay, cool. Like something is working here. We've helped grow his Facebook followers or whatever they're called on Facebook from 50,000 to over 100,000 just in like a month and a half, which that's been really cool.
Well,
I plugged everything into Metricool. I did not realize that these apps can dig for all of the data, even for stuff that you're not publishing through them or planning through their app. So I was able to look at like all of January and all of February, or most of February, and say, okay, give me the reports on these different platforms, because we want to pitch to brand sponsors and show them what we've done. So I took that report from Metricool, which is it was like, I don't even know how many page report. It was a lot of pages. And I dumped it into Claude and I said, hey, This is what I want to do. I want to present this to some brand sponsors. So tell me what's the good stuff in here, like, or red flags or whatever. And holy cow, like I have a presentation now. We put together like a 8-page slide deck to say, okay, here's what you present to these sponsors. These are the metrics that they care about. So doing what you're talking about doing can be as simple as, if you got an account like that you can manage, people could plug in their, their login stuff or whatever. I mean, that's a level, that's the kind of a trust that the right kind of client will trust you with.
Yeah.
But to pull reports and to do stuff like that, if you're managing it, holy cow, so easy, and it can be super duper powerful.
Yeah, and I think that our focus is basically it's the place we've had the most success, right? So we've been doing this for many years, making videos for nonprofits to raise money. And so I think, it's just shaving out that stuff. Look, a year ago, I would have told you social media is what we're doing, right? We're making social media content because that's what it felt like we should be doing. Now we're kind of going the opposite way. So if I can make a 2.5, 3-minute video, 4-minute video, I'm good with that because I want to be able to really dig into the story, really hook people, and then have them be able to use it in public to raise money. So that's my current thing. I don't know. See me in a year. We'll see. I don't know. It's who knows?
So I'll just bring this up. It's when you have employees, it's harder to do what you're saying, right? Like, to go from having all these, and I'm kind of in that same boat. Like we're downsizing so that we can really figure out where do we want to grow, because we were stuck. I had like 2 more, maybe 3 more employees a year and a half ago, and I was forced to make decisions based on the size of the team. And
Absolutely.
it's like, ooh, I don't want that. Because even like 2 or 3 years ago, I'm like reinventing myself. I'm discovering what makes me come alive in this work, and redreaming what is this going to look like, and then think about all the technology changes and AI and gear and the market and recession and new president and all of these things impact our business, whether we like it or not. And for a lot of people, it hurts our business, right? As other businesses that would hire us, they're struggling. So we're getting hired by fewer of those people. So to have fewer people, it's like a blessing and a curse of like, do I have W-2 employees? Go contractor route? Is it just me? There are pros and cons in all of the areas. And one of the pros of being smaller and leaner is you can move faster and you can make decisions, and you're not going to have to restate like, well, we've got a new mission statement now. We got a new vision.
Like I'll learn all that.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
And all of my current contractors, except for one, are former employees. So they quit. All of them quit. I hadn't fired anybody. They all quit because they wanted to go do some other thing. So they're all, one of them wanted to make, narrative films where people are reading lines and acting and stuff. I'm not doing that. So, he left so he could go do that. He's shooting with me on Tuesday. I had another one shoot with me yesterday who left because I couldn't pay him enough money. So now he's making a lot of money as a freelancer, and I still hire him. All my editors are former employees. So they all know where the bodies are buried. They all know how things work, right? So I don't have to re-teach them anything. Yep. And my relationship with ex-employees is so much better than it was when they were employees.
Yeah.
It's so much better. And so I've really appreciated the ability to move from that mostly W-2 over to contractors because, we are lighter, but we also have a better relationship with them as contractors than we did as W-2s.
Yeah. That's so interesting. Yeah. We could, lots we could unpack there. Certainly.
Yeah.
I've got to say about that as well. I want to get into before I had to finish today. I want you about, a lot of people are excited about this idea of like having a studio and repurposing it, or just making sure that they're getting the best ROI. And it's like, oh, hey, I could turn this into studio rental. We could turn this into podcast rental. What is your studio setup like, and how is that part working out for you?
Well, we found this space in an old shopping center that has no windows. Okay. And your space has no windows on the inside, right? Your studio space, or did you have to block them out?
We've blocked them out. Yeah.
Yeah. So ours had no windows, and we were like, "Well, this is perfect. They're not gonna rent it to anybody else without windows." And we love it that it has no windows.
Right.
And so and I think we've got 1,500 feet of studio space, and then we've got another, like, 1,000 feet of office space, so we
Hmm.
can, do that. We started doing the podcast space for us to have a podcast where we invite potential clients on, and they come on our podcast so that they can become clients.
Hmm.
Um, and that's worked okay. But we a year or so ago said, "Hey, we should start hosting people doing their podcast here." And it's a big I mean, we're a very small market, I mean,
Yeah.
you're in a big market-ish, I know you're not in Detroit, but you're close enough that,
Yeah.
it works. And we're still getting 5 or 6 podcasts a week that are shooting in our studio. Um, what we had to do is figure out the economics of it,
Mhm.
so AI tools is one thing, so we use Autopod to cut it, and we use Opus Clips to pull the clips, so that cuts down our post involvement in it. It's been working fine. Um, and we've had several big companies and political campaigns and, these guys who want to do churches, they wanna do podcasts, so they use our studio to do it, and it's been something that we are intending to really grow that over the next year,
Hmm.
to a full revenue center where right now what it's doing is it's paying our rent
Yeah.
and, a little more than paying our rent sometimes. But we're really wanting to kinda double down on the podcasting space while there's the opportunity.
Hmm.
And we're doing the same thing that we did with the other. We don't wanna just open up our door and say, "Come in and use it." We wanna shoot it, we wanna record it, we wanna edit it
Yeah.
for them, we wanna give them the stuff, and then we wanna help them figure out how to use it best.
Hmm.
And so we're one of the only ones in town that are doing this, and certainly no production companies are doing it. So if anybody
Yeah.
else is doing it, they're doing it as a podcast space in their co-working or whatever it is,
Right.
but it's like they're not doing it as a production company. So
And are you running ads at all, or how are you getting the word out?
so we have started running ads. This is very new. This is 3 weeks we've been running ads. I've gotten 60 leads from Facebook ads, which is impossible. That's an impossible number of leads. I've booked, 4 from those
Yeah.
60. So I'm not sure we're gonna keep doing it. I think that at scale, it would work if I had somebody to follow up on the leads that wasn't
Yeah.
me, then
Yeah.
it would work really well, but, tomorrow I have a full schedule of podcasts starting in the
Hmm.
morning, going through the afternoon, and, I think it's definitely something, at least for now, for the next year or so, it's something that I think is gonna be a hot topic, and if you get the price point right, people are going, "Well, I could do
Yeah.
that," right?
Yeah.
If it's not $1,500 to shoot a podcast, people are like, "Alright, I'll give it a
Yeah.
shot," you know,
Hmm.
for $350 to $500, so we make that time work. It's an hour of studio time and basically an hour of post. So we make it work.
Hmm.
And we're figuring that it's bringing people into the studio and all that kind of stuff. So we've been really excited about, the possibilities on that. We've got several companies that are using our studio to produce podcasts for a larger publishing,
Yeah.
larger production company, for the university, a couple of different things. And so, it's been exciting to be able to be involved in that stuff, And so,
Mm.
yeah, it's been really good. And it's expensive, but
Yeah.
I don't know that South Carolina expensive compares to expensive in the rest of the country, but, like, it's just something that you gotta figure if I can at least pay for it or
Yeah.
eclipse that, then it's definitely worth it. And now we've
Yeah.
got a great home base where,
Mm.
we can shoot stuff for our projects too, so
Yeah. Do you offer for any of those clients, instead of like a two-person like interview setup, where it's just one person that wants to have a show and they would have, they would use Riverside like this and record
yeah.
that person remotely? Do you offer that as part of the service?
Yeah, so we can do all that. Riverside is part of what we do,
Okay.
and then, I've got a lady coming in tomorrow who is a therapist, and she wants to go through, you know, what sh the her take uh, on recovery from, trauma and things like that, and so, she's written a script. We're gonna pull that up on the teleprompter and just
Yeah.
let her
Let
have
her
her
rip.
show. It's gonna look similar to what you got there, right?
Yeah.
And, uh we've had, like, we had Gary Vaynerchuk on a show, a couple weeks ago.
Like he
Um,
came to your studio?
no, no, he was on Riverside, but
Good. Cool.
we had a guest we had a host, that is a basketball player at the University of South Carolina
Okay.
who got Gary as a guest, and,
Jeez.
I was like,
I should
"Okay." His first guest was Gary Vaynerchuk.
let's
Um
go.
I was like, "All right." So, it's stuff like that where I go, "Huh, well, this could be an interesting,"
Yeah.
'cause look at this kid, he's an influencer, so he's got 2,000,000 followers on TikTok and, is signed by Vayner Sports.
Yeah.
So, Gary came on because he's signed by Vayner
Right.
Sports,
Right.
and
Yeah.
so who
Fascinating.
knew that was even a thing? I didn't even but that's been exciting to get, we've had reality TV people in here, which has been cool. We've had politicians, kinda minor sports stars from our area, on, so, it's been
That's
cool.
fun. Well, dude, I'm excited. There's a lot of potential in that. I'm excited for the new shifts. You've got a
Yeah.
couple of like really solid ideas that I think can work really, really well in the state of how things are currently and how fast they're shifting.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm appreciative. I'm so glad that we finally got to do this
Yeah,
after
absolutely. It's good to
a long
see you.
time. If people want to connect with you or follow along with all the cool stuff you're doing, where should they go? What should they do?
So, it's as told by agency on all socials, and as told by you podcast on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. So, uh, as told by you podcast is our local podcast, but it's also fun. Whatever. If you're in Michigan, you might get it. You may not. I don't know. But we like it. So
That's good.
yeah.
And then how do you want to leave us today?
Oh goodness, I would say you don't lose until you quit.
Mm,
So that's been my mantra. I'm gonna tattoo that on my shoulder blades. You don't lose
okay.
until you quit.
Next time
So
I see you, you'll have it.
that's right. It'll be big. I'm gonna use bold letters. What was the font we used to use for wedding videos?
Papyrus?
Trajan Pro. It's gonna be in Trajan Pro. Like a movie poster. So
Oh, that's fantastic.
good
Dude,
times.
so good to be with you.
Yeah,
Appreciate your time.
absolutely,
This is
man. It's a big honor. Thank you. It's great to be with you here.
Hey, thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Grow Your Video Business podcast. If you got something out of today's conversation, do me a favor, share it with a friend or post it on your socials. Tag me at Ryan Coral or at Grow Your Video Business. I'd love to know what resonated with you. If you've got a question or takeaway, drop a comment wherever you're listening or watching this. You can also shoot me a message. I read every single one. And hey, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. We've got more stories, strategies, and behind the scenes insights coming your way to help you build a business that you love. Keep creating, keep sharing your story, and keep showing up. I'm cheering you on. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you next time.